Welcome to Civil Engineering for Learners. By Dr.K.Aravinthan. Waste Management. Waste generation and composition. Information on waste quantity and composition is important in evaluating alternatives in terms of equipment, systems, plans and management programs. For example, if wastes generated at a commercial facility consist of only paper products, the appropriate equipment are shredders and balers. Similarly, on the basis of quantity generated. Waste generation. Waste generation encompasses those activities in which waste, be it solid or semi-solid material, no longer has sufficient economic value for its possessor to retain it. We can reduce the amount of solid waste by limiting the consumption of raw materials and increasing the rate of recovery and reuse. Generation waste composition. The major constituents are paper and decomposable organic materials. More often than not, metal, glass, ceramics, textile, dirt, and would form part of the composition, and their relative proportion depends on local factors. Average proportions of the constituents reaching the disposal sites are consistent and urban wastes are fairly constant, although subject to long-term changes such as seasonal variations. Typical waste composition: low/high-income population. Note that the density of waste changes as it moves from the source of generation to the point of ultimate disposal, and such factors as storage methods, salvaging activities, exposure to weather, handling methods, and decomposition influence the density. Predicting changes in the waste composition is as difficult as forecasting waste quantities. Factors causing variation. Geographic location. The influence of geographic location is related primarily to different climates that can influence both the amount of certain types of solid wastes generated and the collection operation. For instance, substantial variations in the amount of yard and garden wastes generated in various parts of India are related to the climate. Seasons. Seasons of the year have implications for the quantities and composition of certain types of solid wastes. For example, the growing season of vegetables and fruits affects the quantities of food waste. Collection frequency. A general observation is that in localities where there are ultimate collection services, more waste is collected. This does not mean that more waste is generated. Population diversity. The characteristics of the population influence the quantity and composition of waste generated. The amount of waste generated is more in low-income areas compared to high-income areas. Similarly, the composition differs in terms of paper and other recyclables, which are typically more in high-income areas as against low-income areas. Extent of salvaging and recycling. The existence of salvaging and recycling operations within a community definitely affects the quantity of waste collected. Public attitude. Significant reduction in the quantity of solid waste is possible if and when people are willing to change, on their own volition, their habits and lifestyles to conserve natural resources and to reduce the economic burden associated with the management of solid wastes. Legislation. This refers to the existence of local and state regulations concerning the use and disposal of specific materials and is an important factor that influences the composition and generation of certain types of waste. The Indian legislation dealing with packing and beverage container materials is an example. In short, elements that relate to waste generation include land use characteristics, the population and age distribution, legislation, socio-economic conditions, household, and approximate number. Thank you. Happy learning. See you again.